Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Bell to Bells, your women's wrestling wire. I'm Mr. Warren Hayes. Thank you very much for joining us today as we continue our series of interviews with wrestlers who made it on the PWI Top 500 list. And today, we got something cool. We really do have something very cool for you today. Not only are we interviewing someone who was on the 500, we're interviewing two people who made it on the 500 today. Two people who are inseparable. The very foundations of Choco Pro. The BestBros. Akki and Mei Suruga. Mei, Akki, thank you very much for being here.
Well, thank you very much for asking us. Yeah, and she can put still. Yeah, why do you have to copy him? Let him do the thing in the beginning.
Now listen, I
stumble. Why?
This is fine.
Thank you very much for asking, guys.
This is hey, and you know I don't want to start any conflicts. It's all about you. If Mei wants to jump in and interrupt me all the time, that's absolutely fine.
Please be ready. She will do so.
Okay, excellent.
And I don't have the energy today for some reason to stop her. So.
Yeah, you're not ready to fight yet. You haven't stretched. But thank you very much for being here, and I appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on both charting on the 500 right next to each other.
Thank you.
How does it feel to be on the 500 this year?
How about you? You start. How does it feel?
このランキング、first I saw this ranking and both of our name together.
Back to back.
Yeah. That is number one. I feel happy.
Yes, it was. It put a smile on my face because she tagged me. I didn't know. Somebody posted it. I think the BestBros are on the ranking back to back, and she tagged me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Saying like, bro, look at that. I'm like,
yeah,
that's fantastic. Look at it.
That was fantastic. Yeah, it was like cherry on top. If we would have been randomly, like, let's just say I would have been like 3 something and she would have been 3 something and just a bit apart, it still would have been the same thing, but not really. So whoever decided to do so, good job.
Well,
good job. Very, very good job on doing so.
Kudos to the committee. Kudos to the committee then. Well, Mei, we know, Mei, that you've been practicing learning English, right? That's
yes.
You know, and it would seem that you're doing quite well, and Aki's been coaching you along, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Why do you say it's like it's a bad thing? She says, yeah. Why did I say yeah?
Yeah.
Like, how is that a bad thing? I'm
He's
coaching you. Just say yes. Yes, of course he does. Why, like, what's with that face? Why do you have to say it like it's a bad thing? Like, you can't help it. You have to do this almost.
Because my teacher is reasonable.
He's reasonable.
Yeah, that does not work.
I'm not quite sure.
This new are reasonable.
Yes, that's the bane of our fight. I'm reasonable and she's not, and we agree on it too. We are like very clear about it. Like,
sure.
How are you reasonable? How dare you be reasonable? I'm like, why you be a brat? Can we just? It just doesn't fly that way. Like you saw it too. You went, oh, Aki's the coach, and she went, yeah. Why?
Good job, my coach.
Well,
you should do a good job too sometime.
Thank you, Akki.
Well, you know, look, I didn't want to cause a thing. I just wanted to say,
I don't have the energy today.
Okay.
So.
You should have energy.
I'm just gonna give up on
this
most of the arguments.
This is interview, right?
Yes.
Come on.
I have plenty of energy for the interview.
Come on.
Not for you though.
You need coffee?
No, not coffee today. But sorry, please go ahead.
That's fine. I mostly just wanted to point out that Mei was doing very well and that Akki, you were a very good coach. But
thank you very much.
But clearly I instigated something. I apologize. Let's just lean in, the past year, 2020 and even up to now, has been very complicated with COVID and the multiple restrictions that there's been lots of ups and downs in Japan and Asia. How have you two been holding up over all of this?
毎日の半ぐらい結構いろいろまあ大変だったじゃん。こっちも全部どういう感じですかこの1年半。うまく
この1年半
どんな感じでできてますか？
でもこの1年半は確かに大変なこともたくさんあったんですけど、自分たちはチョコプロを過ごすうちは、なんか大変というよりも楽しい中で自分たちがプロレスをして、その自分たちをみんなが見てくれて、また自分たちのまだ届けてなかった世界が届けてた1年だったから、すごく楽しいです。
She says some good stuff. She goes, of course, like it has been difficult, of course, in that sense. Everything has been quite different in the difficult sense as well. But because we started doing Choco Pro as soon as things got really rough, instead of saying like difficult, because we were really doing wrestling and we were doing really fun wrestling. We even found places that we haven't been before to the audience, to the worldwide. We were able to reach places that we have not before throughout the move. So instead of saying like a really hard time, you could like very reasonably say we have actually a very, very fun time in the last year and a half.
Well, that's good. And you have kept active despite it all. Over the past year, Mei has had 99 matches in 2020, just in 2020, and currently Mei's on her way to way over 100 this year if we keep up like that. And Akki, yourself, you've had 75 matches in 2020, and you yourself are on pace to hit 100 by the end of the year.
I was actually, and last year I had my first ever injury in my career. I've never been injured before.
Okay.
I was out for 4 months.
And still,
year.
yeah, and still, you managed to.
We had a very busy year. Like Gotham Move used to do 4 to 5 shows a month. 4 or 5 on a busy, like just say a golden week month would be like 6. New Year's would be 6 and 7, but never before that. Choco Pro regularly does 10 shows a month.
Right.
So we are wrestling every 3 days.
And that, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's like, and if you get outside dates, that's on top. So we have been actually way more busy as a company than we were before, actually. Like it was like things got tough and we was like, let's do twice more. Yeah, basically that's how it felt like when we started doing this.
And that's fantastic. And has the fact that you kept so busy, that's probably very good for you as pro wrestlers on top of that, right?
Yeah.
Yes, very, very much so. And also because we are doing such different way of wrestling, not just style of wrestling.
Yes.
Different way of wrestling, because like our whole, the way like wrestling is observed from surround, as a live audience is there all around most of the time around the ring and they watch it. Our perspective went the other side. When we started doing Choco Pro, it went from us to the audience.
Yes.
We were the main observers, and then what we observed and did was in hand from a singular point, was looked at from the audience. So normally it would be audience all surround and we were a singular point. When Choco Pro happened, audience were a single point from one point of the camera, and we were all around that. It really put it almost like you put the audience in the ring somewhere.
Sure.
And wrestling is happening all around.
Just a little more immersive, I guess, to a certain degree.
Yeah, quite a lot. Because I think that's one of the biggest thing that people even feel about Choco Pro, because of the intimacy of it. You are in the match, like most of the time. If I'm taking a match and a submission, it's very common for me to go inside the mat. The room is we can say the mat is where the wrestling happens, but very, very truthfully, the room is where the wrestling happens, and the camera is in the room.
Sure, absolutely.
And because there's anything that does not get captured in that small lens doesn't exist, because nobody observes it.
Exactly. It's like the old thing. If a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Kind of thing.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because nothing that's not in there does not exist.
Right.
Before everything existed. If it was a tag match and I'm in the corner, I'm still in a match because I'm being observed by the audience. But in Choco Pro, I don't exist anymore as long as I'm not in that screen.
Sure, absolutely.
And that changes your perspective as a performer for what and how are you performing. That it really, I think, pushed us in a very different direction.
Yes.
Very fast and very strongly.
Yeah. そうだから、by the way、チョコプロで一番悔しいのは、画面外で攻撃されてるとき。
Yes. So because of that, the alternative is the most painful thing in Choco Pro is getting beat up when the camera is not looking at you. It's like you are being thrown because wrestlers throw each other. Like when you go attacks, somebody's doing a tag move or something. You do that because when there's audience all around, you are part of it. You might break it. But in Choco Pro, you're just standing there. So you're just getting beat up while there's a submission going on. You're just getting beat up for no reason.
For no reason. No one's there to appreciate it. No, absolutely. Oh, well, you see, that's one of the things. Everything that you said there is one of the things that makes Choco Pro so unique, right? And it's cool because it's been observed. There's a lot. Choco Pro's been gaining a rather large following very quickly. There's a lot of people who are very excited about Choco Pro and follow it very closely. Especially in North America, more and more people are talking about it. We have like the Church of Joshi over here talks quite a bit about you and with good reason. How does that feel to get maybe we can get Mei's thoughts on this. How does it feel to get such a large audience on that level?
でも自分は、まず最初ガトームーブに入った時に一番感じたことがあったんですよ。それはガトームーブが使ってるこの市街の会場で自分たちが試合をしていることは、世界でここだけだって思ってました。だから絶対に広まる時が来たら絶対にみんなはこの会場このスタイルに夢中になるって思って信じてやってきてました、でもガトームーブの時はあんまりそう映像を表に出すって YouTube にそこまでまだ力を入れてなくて、まだ届けきれてなかったです、でもチョコプロになってそれができるようになっていろんな人が見てくれるようにもなって、そうやってどんどん広がっていくのは今ガトームーブで一番最初に感じたメイの夢が広がってるなって思ってます。
She says when she joined Gato Move, there was very, very particular thing that stood out to her the most. She came and watched Ichigaya show, the Gato Move show, and she realized like what's happening here, forget about pro wrestling or anything else. What's happening here only happens here in the world.
Sure.
And if people can somehow see it, it will really be a very, very strong and niche thing. Maybe not even niche, like it will be a unique attraction in itself. And she said she really believed that, so she started doing Gato Move. That was one of the biggest reasons, because it was such fun thing, like just on its own, wrestling put aside. And says, but when we were doing Gato Move, it wasn't really accessible as much. We were doing YouTube and we were putting like one match every week or something, but it wasn't the focus on that sense. But we started doing Choco Pro and that became the only focus.
Right.
So it just feels like what she dreamed of when she decided to join Gato Move, that dream, it seems like it is becoming reality. That's how it feels like.
No, that's fantastic. That's very cool. And speaking on visions, I guess you two are helping to bring Emi Sakura's vision of pro wrestling to life to a certain degree, right?
You can say that.
She
disagree, but she might throw a shade here and there. But
well, tell me about what it's like being under Emi's tutelage. What's been the most rewarding being under Emi Sakura's tutelage? Excuse me, I'm stuttering.
一番いいこと。なんか、さくらさんのメジャーの弟子じゃん。それ言ってて、ベストブローズに聞いてるんですけど、一番いいことって何があったきっかけというか、きっかけで言う。
一番いいこと、さくらさんの元にいて一番いいこと。
そう。
さくらさんは挑戦しなかったら怒る。なんか、やりすぎて怒られるとかもちろんあるけど、挑戦しない人が嫌いだから、その元にいるのは自分にとってすごいいいことだなって思います。
May says, the one thing, I asked this to her particularly because she might be the last prodigy of Amy Sakura, very much so. The closest thing, like, okay, this will be my comment on it.
Okay.
She's the closest thing that I imagine meeting a young Emi Sakura, because I wanted to. Because when I first met Emi Sakura, and when you get to know her, there was very young parts in her personality, like she would act like a teenager very casually, like really she has a very cute personality, and but. On the flip side of it, she's also a 26-year veteran and she was in the top of the game in a time where pro wrestling was really brutal.
Yes.
Not like the way it is said today. No. Real life brutal.
Yeah.
Like in actuality. And she comes from that time, so that really shows every now and then. That's when you see the scary part come out. And I always thought, like, the way she has made wrestling and she has found her own style, and she is so, like, in a very strong river, she never moved an inch. She never gave an inch. Like, no matter how beaten and battered she got, she never took a step back. Never. And she has been trashed by wrestlers, media, like anything, but she never took back what she wanted from to wrestling to be. To this day, even in AEW, she would not do what people would expect her to do. She would do what she wants to do. You better take it or leave it. She will find ways. She's very smart, but she does not step back. And I really wanted to meet a young Emi Sakura. I really like especially from when she was like 19 to 23. When she was just at that point, she was just slapping fools.
Yes.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's
at that time of Emi Sakura, I really wanted to meet her, and Mei is the closest thing I feel I could have met her. Especially the Mei I see, because we are the best bros.
She goes like,
yes.
But I feel that's very high praise.
Yes. We can take it both ways.
Okay.
Praise, but like, yeah, it can also be a little bit of a dip, because we've seen what Emi Sakura is today, so it's basically predicting where it's going. But Mei says the one thing that is really Mei realizes the best thing she thinks about being next to Emi Sakura is Emi Sakura is somebody who gets angry at you if you don't challenge yourself.
Okay.
Like, you might do too much and get yelled at, of course, but she will definitely yell at you if you don't take risks. If you just do whatever, it's not fine. You better bring something new and challenging and innovative, something. Challenge yourself. If you don't, you have no place here. She hates people. Like those are not her type of people. If you are okay with just there,
right? Being complacent.
Yes, we have nothing. She has nothing for you.
Oh.
You like, and that is actually very, very true. That might be the most true. The things Amy Sakura get angry at regularly, that might be the one most regular thing. You better challenge yourself, and being close to something of that environment is really, really incredible as a wrestler, especially as a developing wrestler.
Sure, absolutely. Always being required to challenge yourself and push your boundaries. Yes, absolutely. It has to be very rewarding. And since we talked about it a bit, you talked about it. Mei, you've wrestled overseas. You've wrestled overseas before, right? Of course, you've been in England, right? A couple of years ago, you wrestled for Pro Wrestling Eve. Let's say once all the travel restrictions are lifted and so on and so forth, would you like to return traveling overseas? Would you like to wrestle for AEW again?
Of course. I want to go overseas world everywhere. So before, my dream is, of course, AEW stage. But recently, we become tag team and tag belt. Yeah, we are champion.
Yes.
So I have a new dream.
Oh.
As long as I possible, BestBros go to the world, Asia or Asia countries, England or America or Mexico.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and Australia. Yeah, everywhere. I really wanna go, and BestBros won't become top of mixed tag team match.
Oh yeah, the standard.
Yeah.
Become the standard. Yes.
Sometimes.
Well,
Like you have to give her that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes you just
BestBros, right
take
here.
your heart away right away. Sometimes it really does say very good stuff. Like these moments are what keep us together.
だから2つになった。自分の夢とベストブローズの夢が2つできた。
She says she already has her own dreams. She wants to get to the biggest stage possible, and she wants to travel the world as a talent. But when we became BestBros, something changed, and that is she found like a dream that walks with her dream, and that she would like to be she would like to wrestle as a mixed team, because we are a mixed team, and make that really be the top of the world in that genre specifically, and really put the standard on mixed wrestling, because it's hard to find good mixed wrestling. Let's be like it's especially like I think Goto Move and now Choco Pro is the best in the world. No question asked in how they do mixed wrestling.
Okay.
Instead of doing like, there's mixed wrestling got a kind of like a very good following, especially in the last, like the hip, like a bit more popular indie scene in the last 2-3 years in UK and in America as well. But the way mixed wrestling is done is very different.
Okay.
Like very, very different.
What's the main difference? What would you say is like
I actually want to ask her first, because I can really speak to that. Because Mei has some very, very nice thoughts about it.
Okay, good.
Mixed wrestling に
alright.
私たちがなんかなんていうかな、こっちの方が私的に世界一と思うじゃん。正しいというか。だからミックスレスリングに私たちの方と世界の方には何が違うの？
まあ、なんかそもそもスタイルが、ミックスのスタイル is 今の、like American mixed wrestling or other place is different mixed style.
Yes.
American style is men and female, and but during match, men versus men, women versus women. That is, yeah, mixed match. The title is mixed match, but open the match. That is singles match.
Sure. Sure. It's not really mixed if the men and the women are just fighting each other. Yeah,
Almost
sure.
single, no tag team.
Yeah, that's like specifically AW right now. That's their state. But できるところは
できるところ
なんかインディーとかでやるじゃん。ミックスマッチもちゃんと。なんかちゃんと試合するところ。
Yeah.
それには何が違うと思うの私たちの方と。
私たちの方と
I'm asking her like the places where you can wrestle, where they do wrestle.
Sure, yes.
Like, what would be the difference?
What would be different?
Especially like you were saying, like on the independent circuit.
Yes.
On the North American indies, there's quite a lot of intergender wrestling.
I'll speak first. Okay. So while she thinks, what I feel is the most basic part is that it's still in its baby steps.
Okay.
We are getting started there. The way it's getting started is the fact that a guy is wrestling a girl is the thing. The match is not the thing. What happens in the match is not the thing. The very fact that a guy is wrestling a girl is the main thing. We have not gotten past it yet.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
When we go past it, you're like, yes, right? Like a huge dude is wrestling, let's just say, a moderately physiqued girl, or a small girl, or maybe a very, very athletic girl. And there's like, oh, what's happening? But the main fact of this whole transaction yet is the fact that a guy is wrestling a girl.
Sure. That's still wrestling. like you said, it's still the attraction. It's the thing we focus
is the
on.
Guy versus the girl. Who's the guy? Who's the girl? We haven't gone there yet. So if me and Mei wrestle, I would wrestle her as Suruga Mei. The fact that she's a Joshi wrestler is just that.
Sure.
It has nothing to do with how I would wrestle her. I would wrestle her as the talent Mei Suruga. Because I would wrestle her the way that only we can wrestle that way.
Sure.
And if the fact was that I'm a guy wrestling a girl who's Mei, but it's not disappeared. That's more important. I'm not wrestling her like I would wrestle any other big guy. But I don't wrestle a small guy like I wrestle a big guy either.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's like I think what you're trying to say is that it doesn't matter ultimately that she's a woman.
Yeah, we are past that.
You adapt your style to the style of wrestler that you're wrestling, and that's it.
Yeah, and like how much of the foreign mixed matches is the huge guy doing a horrible move to a girl and we reacting, whoa, she must have died, right? How much of the mixed wrestling is that? Or because you can lift them, you just turn them around and take a DDT.
Sure.
How much of the mixed match is that? Like if you really go to tell there, most of the match is that. The shock factor on both sides. I can really, because the girl is light, I can really throw around and take a crazy satellite DDT, or I can just smack her.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
So much more. Like that's what I feel like. When BestBros wrestle, we wrestle if the talent known as Akki and the talent known as Mei come together, that's the team that we bring. And we wrestle like BestBros. It doesn't matter if we wrestle Tropical Wilds, who are both Joshi wrestlers. It doesn't matter if we wrestle Egg Tarts, who are a mixed team, or if we wrestle Match Brand Dancing, who are just a pure guys tag team. It doesn't matter. The fact that Mei is a Joshi wrestler, we are just a team. We're just BestBros. We have a personality like any other team would have, and we wrestle the way we would wrestle. It has, like, it doesn't. Like just because we're wrestling a guy or a girl, that does not factor. The talent that we're wrestling factors a lot.
Sure.
And I want that process to be sped up.
Okay.
It's like because the 2-3 years that has not gone away. The shock factor has yet to go away. The fact that a guy is wrestling a girl, and I want it to sped up. We are ahead. And it's no joke because Amy Sakura started doing that 14 years ago. So I can't blame them. Like Yakin Thunders, the team of Emi Sakura and Masa Takanashi. If you don't know them, so you should look them up. Please try Yakin, HYKKIN, THUNDER, Thunder. Yakin, by the way, means $1 shop. So it's like very, very cheap thunder.
I didn't know that. That's funny. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what, like, the $1 shop is called Yakin in Japan. So
Okay.
it basically is like a cheap thunder.
Cheap thunder.
That's what they say. Yeah, that's what the name means.
Dollar store
Because we're
thunder.
from Michigaya. We are not wealthy. We don't have expensive thunder. So like, I love that name, by the way. They wrestle like them. It has, because I think they are the best mixed team in the world. No compete, like they are the standard. If you go watch them, it's so flawless. Like it's incredible. I watched them and I'm like, oh, it makes sense. They are ahead. 14 years they've been tagging. Of course they are ahead. And Amy Sakura, her philosophy really matches with mixed matches. The way she wants normal wrestling to go, if you apply it to a male and a female wrestlers wrestling together, that's the produce that comes out. And I think that it's just a better format of mixed wrestling.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And what you said, Akki, with speaking with a lot of independent wrestlers on the North American circuit, there's a lot of what you say that's echoed here, where people are like, look, we just want to normalize, as it's referred to a lot here as intergender wrestling.
Okay, what's the difference between me wrestling Mei and for the lack of a better example, Miro on AW wrestling Darby Allin?
Sure.
What's the difference?
I get it.
Right?
I get it.
The size difference is there. Of course it's there. He can throw him across the ring. So can I throw Mei to the other side of the ring. Tell me the difference. It's pro wrestling.
Hey,
you're talking like, right?
No, I agree. Look, you're preaching to the choir right here. That's fine. I get it. But that's fantastic, and I did want to dive into the intergender stuff. So I'm glad you brought it up. And the fact that you wrestle as a team as well is great. Like Mei mentioned, you guys right now are the Asia Dream Tag Team Champions, right? And Akki, you yourself, I asked the question to Mei about internationally. I think like you've wrestled a lot in Asia. You've been, India, of course, Japan, Thailand, Singapore. You've never had the opportunity to go really overseas, to other continents anyway. Am I correct?
Yes, I did go to UK once.
Oh, okay.
I missed Japan and came back. I was there for like 7 months, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's really great. Like, I thought people just say that. No, it's really great. That was my first thought. I'm not joking. When I went to the countryside of UK, that was my first thought. Because I went there before winter. And winter came while I was there. And I'm like, oh, it's like really great. I thought it was just a figure of, like, I thought people just say that. Because I never seen gray weather. Like, it's something. Blue, black. It's like, oh, there's no sun. So maybe it's because cloud is there. Maybe it's, no, it's just gray. And I was surprised. I'm like, wow.
Would you Would you like to travel more for wrestling once, everything comes back to normal?
Oh, yes. I was actually, like, 2020 really halted me because I thought I would base myself in UK and travel. But I realized because of the way the business work there, because of the way the industry is there, it's like small promotions, but a lot of them.
Yes.
There's not a promotion that does like 10 shows.
Sure.
So you have to have an incredible amount of connections to fill your dates in that way. Or you show up, tell everybody 3 months prior, and then you fill up those days because that's when the shows are being booked. Because I'm doing 1 show a month, I want to be ready. If I'm doing 10 shows a month, I'm making that show 1 week prior because I have 10 of them, right?
Absolutely.
So, yes. So I realized in like 6 to 7 months, I'm like, oh, it's way better to base myself in Japan and travel. It's way better to do that. Okay. And I wanted to do that. That's why I came to Japan in March 2020. And I had 2 tours planned and I had 1 goal. I was going to Australia, and I was going to Philippines once that tour ended. So I had plans to go from Japan to Philippines, and hopefully before I came back to Japan, go to Australia. And I really wanted to travel Mexico in 2020. When I came to Japan, I actually started, because I know a lot of wrestlers who've been to Mexico. Quite a lot actually here. So I thought, okay, I'll talk to people here. And I know Mexico is not that expensive. Flight might be expensive, but compared to Japan,
living there,
not a very expensive place.
Sure.
So I was pretty sure, even if I won't take a loss, I might come even. So I really wanted to travel Mexico in 2020. I was actually I had a lot of travel planned for 2020. Yeah, and
yeah,
poof.
Yeah,
really poof.
A lot of plans.
But I really want to. America is the only one where I take a step back. America seems to be the big one. America seems to be like a place where I know American independent wrestling, but I don't know the way of it. Like, I can imagine American wrestling, but it's because America is so huge, as my own country is. It's hard to fathom for me to go to state to state to state and do that tour thing, unless I know that tour thing.
It's very rigorous,
Yes, I don't want to show up and just be free for 20 days. And just
you want to work.
Even if I do 5 matches, I'm free most of the time. I would much rather show up for someone at a later date than just show up and have how would I say that? Less of a schedule. So as long as traveling, and I know American wrestling because everybody knows American wrestling. I'm more interested in going to places that I don't know yet. The one place I really want to visit now is Mexico. I really want to go there. And probably is BestBros if possible.
And as BestBros, indeed, yeah. Like Mei was saying, both of you traveling together would be fantastic. We see it on Choco Pro, and I feel we're seeing it a lot here. You guys have a special connection, right? You have a good connection. Mei,
look at that face. How can you say that?
Well, Mei, how did your, is it friendship? How did your friendship with Akki develop? How did it start?
How did we start?
Our friendship?
Yeah, she's actually doubtful even for the fact that we are friends right now.
Well, that's why, I'm right? Friends. I mean, I'm just,
Yes.
We are friends.
She's like, are we? I don't like you that much. I'm like, that's her tone. How did we get started with this? How did we get started?
Remember how we get? First, my personality is very,
secretive. Too many walls, I would say.
Yeah, I have too many walls.
Okay.
Maybe
to everybody. Let's not make me special. Okay? I'm happy you're trying that.
I have so many.
Yes.
I have so many walls.
Yes, you do.
And
And you said it, by the way. I did not, so don't fight me afterwards. But yes, very secret. Let's just say very private person.
Okay.
Okay, that's a very proper way of saying it.
Yeah, but Akki is talk a lot. Very talk a lot.
Especially because I was trying for Japanese.
Every day.
Every day.
And
2 years ago, 1 year ago.
Yeah, mostly make no sense also. Because I couldn't speak Japanese that well on that point.
Yeah, the first before Akki speak 10 words, for example, 10 words, I say 1 word. And 10 words, 1 word. So, time passed, 10 words broken, and Akki went to the UK and come back to Japan, and broken word. Yeah, finally, Choco Pro is starting.
Yeah, Choco Pro was big. Two were big. I think UK, me leaving Japan was big, and Choco Pro starting was big. When I came back, because I came back and Choco Pro started right at that moment, 1 week.
Yeah, だって Choco Pro, when Choco Pro is starting, if I don't want to stay with Akki, but every day Aki is coming here office and I coming to the office. Yeah.
You can't escape him.
We were interested.
Yes. I think we started fighting. That's what made us friends. I'm not joking. Because like I don't get emotional very often. Like she says, I'm reasonable.
Yes.
And that's what she probably hates the most about me. I don't get very emotional very fast. Let's just say I've been independent all my life. So I'm very mature, let's just say, for the lack of a better word. And we would be like, when Mei showed up to Gautam, I was already here. I think I arrived like 6 to 8 months prior to her to Gautam, and we would just be like hey, that's basically it. But we were like, I think she was the most friendly with me by the time I left in like the 2 years.
She got friendly with you when you left. That's
before. That is true, by the way. No, me not being here.
She's like, cool.
More.
Yeah, before and UK, Aki went to the UK, and after I went to the UK.
Yeah, actually, like, no joke, because you were traveling alone. I left my place at 1 in the night, showed up at the UK airport at 6:30 in the morning to meet her at 7:30 flight. No joke. That's because Sakura-san was like, Mei is traveling alone. Like, okay. It was also like when Mei just started doing here, I would go back, and because I used to live close by, I would just walk my bicycle. I would always show up on a bike.
Sure.
And May's place was like on the way, so I would always drop her up and then go home. It just became a thing because we would be the last, because we don't have to worry about the last train. We would be the last person to leave.
Sure. Okay.
Right, and me, Mei-chan, and Sakura-san, us three would be the last person to leave. We were like, put things back together. Me and Mei and Sakura-san would be like, okay, let's go home. I'm like, okay, let's go home. And because our way was the same way going back, I was quite further, but Mei used to live close by, and I would just drop her off and go back. That was like, that 5 minutes, I think, of us. That was all of our interaction together.
For the okay.
Like, yeah, and then I left. I came back. We met in UK. That was also big. We had quite a fun there, and Lulu Pencil was there also, by the way. That's where I met Lulu for the first time.
Really? Okay.
Very unique character. And then I came back to Japan. I remember just casually, just as a matter of fact, hugging me. I'm like, hey, I'm back. He's like, yeah, bro. And I was surprised myself. And I'm like, I don't remember being that friendly with Mei.
And it just came naturally.
Yeah. And then Choco Pro started. We were here like every day or 8 hours because we wouldn't go anywhere. We were not supposed to go anywhere, and we were doing live streams, and we had other work to do. Choco Pro was crazy in the beginning, and we just showed up here. And then, as more balls break, as she say, we started fighting. Because she seems very lovely and bubbly, and not really. Like, you just don't know her that much.
Okay.
You just that's why we fight a lot. I'm like, and no, but nobody gets angry at me. Like, can you imagine getting angry at the, like, it's hard to get. I do.
Like, so personally,
friends. Yeah, we started fighting, so we became friends.
Oh, that's
I'm
fantastic.
the only person who goes, shut up. I know you don't mean that, smile. Like, don't lie to me.
Don't pretend.
How dare you? I'm like, I'm right. You know I'm right.
Why you know me well?
And then we fight.
Well, speaking of fighting, like, this is a very crucial question. I need to ask you. I need to ask you both. I think there'd be a lot of my friends who are really into Choco Pro. If I didn't ask this, I'd be remiss. What strategies do you employ when going into the Jakan tournament at the end of each show?
It really sucks at it, so you better ask her first.じゃんけん。なんか、チョコプロは結構自分の友達もいっぱいなんかチョコプロが好きな人いるけど、じゃんけんにはどういう考えて何を作戦で言ってますか？
Yes, the strategies.
Strategies?
Yes.
Passion.
Yeah, and that's why she has won 2 Junkin chocolates in 1 year. We wrestle 10 times a month.
And
There's chances every 3 days.
and how is the chocolate?
Oh, it's fantastic.
No, I was asking May. She won 2.
She barely remembers. Like, how can she answer? I don't think she remembers the
That
taste.
is fantastic.
Of course it is. You've eaten like 2 in 1 year. Of course it's fantastic for you. It is casual for me. It's casual.
チョコが喉通らな
By
か
the
った。
way, the last time she ate chocolate, she couldn't really swallow it because she just had a match. It was the main event, and she was tired. But she hasn't eaten that chocolate in so long that she forgot to like drink water or something. Straight up, just dry mouth, ate the chocolate and goes. You don't remember how to eat it. You suck so much at it. But I would give you one extra information though.
Oh, okay. Inside info.
Junkin, you see people like visibly upset, right? When that junk, it hurts.
It
No
hurts.
joke, because there's no like slow build to it. You just go 1-on-1 and that's right away. You just like it like the day you want to win, you lose so brutally.
It breaks your heart just as
does.
harder.
Every time I've never seen anybody not react to it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're
I
right.
saw like the first time I really realized like how hard Junkin is going to be was Masato Tanaka. I wrestled him.
Yeah.
And he's not a guy I've seen even smile ever.
Right.
Not even photos, matches ever.
Yes.
And he won his first Junkin match. I just went, wah! I'm like, okay, this is gonna be crazy. We found something here. And then he got beat by May and it was like super frustrated. No joke, like real frustration. Like I have felt punchy, like really punchable. I really felt like that losing in Junkin. Like there are days that it really hurts.
It makes the victories even sweeter, especially since we're talking about chocolate on top of that.
It does.
Mei, Akki, this was a fantastic talk. Thank you very much. Just before we wrap things up, let's say things start getting back to normal. We're not in not so many restrictions set up and everything. What would be your plans for 2022 at this point? Do you have any goals? Do you have any plans? Yes, Mace. Why don't we start with you?
2022 goals. 2020 goal. 2021 goal.
One
22.
One is about to be over. 22. If
20
traveling okay.
Okay. Right.
Everything okay.
Everything is okay.
Yes. No. Exactly. No restrictions. Let's just
Normal.
Let's go.
Normal.
Normal.
BestBros go to AEW.
Oh, there you go.
Versus
Something.
Lucha Bros.
Versus Lucha Bros.
Versus Young Bucks.
Versus Young Bucks.
Versus who else?
Jurassic Express. Jungle Boy. Yes. Jungle Boy.
May would be such a fan of, like, in Japanese you say dinosaur, you said Zorus. That's how you say dinosaur.
Okay. Zorus.
That's all she yells when Jurassic Express shows up. We do the watching parties and that all she's doing is Zorus. That's like dinosaur just show. I'm like, no.
He's coming.
But he is, and makes sense. But that's all she does.
I would love to see Luchasaurus and May go at it. Absolutely.
BestBros still never to go overseas and never show up the big show. So 2022, I want to do that.
That's a good goal. Yeah.
Perfect goal. What about you, Akki?
I do have quite a lot, but especially because we have such a how would I say that? Such a connection to AW at this point. I do wanna do a lot there.
Cool.
Yes, I want BestBros to have a taste of very different spices. I do want to try. Of course, I said I want to try a lot of places, and I do want to try AEW as well. I think it would be an incredible statement if a mixed team wrestles lucha. Like, it would be the biggest statement. No matter where we can go and wrestle a mixed team, I would much rather wrestle just a team and be taken as just a team instead of a mixed team.
Sure.
That's like, if we go to, that's why she says Lucha Bros and like
The
Young Bucks, because they are a team, and we would just show up as BestBros. That would be like quite up high there. I also would like to wrestle, if I have to say somebody, because Mei is definitely going to wrestle for AEW. There's no denying that, and she's going to have like quite a fantastic singles run by 2022 easily, very, very easily. But if I myself have to try, I've always had an image of a wrestler for India. Wrestling is very popular in India, and it's a 1.4 billion people country, and it's the second most famous sport after cricket.
Oh, okay, really up that high, really? Okay.
That high, no joke. Second, like it can, if not cricket, wrestling is the thing.
Wow.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, John Cena and like Roman Reigns, and like there's no difference between Hollywood stars and WWE stars.
Interesting.
Like legit.
Okay.
Yeah, John Cena can definitely stop Delhi from moving.
Okay.
That's the amount of popularity we're talking about. And for that, the one of the biggest problem is, but it never existed for us. It's just a concept. It's just like movies. You don't do movies, you watch movies.
Sure.
It's Hollywood. And for that, it is still Hollywood. I want to make it a reality for India. I want to bring that movie set to India. Okay. I want to give them their John Cena or their Rock or their Austin or whatever it could, whatever the form of India that would be. I want to give them that to myself and to India. I want to make it, instead of a movie, I want to make it what it is. It's live entertainment.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And if really possible, by 2022, I want to start doing that. I want to start walking on that path that I always wanted to walk to and have been working hard to walk to.
No, that's fantastic.
If I have to speak of a goal, that's what I want to do. I can make it possible. It can't happen overnight.
No, but
I want to start doing that.
You have to start somewhere, exactly.
Yes. And by 2022, I want to start doing that. I want to make that movie into a reality.
Oh.
Well, I'm excited just to. I'll do what Mei did. Oh,
genius type of reactions. Genius, natural born.
That's fantastic. What a great goal. That's not definitely unique. And hopefully you'll start down that path in 2022. I really, really hope so. You gotta have a great vision like that. Mei, Akki, thank you again. If people want to keep up with the both of you, your careers on social media, on the internet, what would be the best places for them to do so?
SNS とかだからめちゃんをフォローとしたかったら、何が一番いいんでしょう？
Twitter, Instagram? Twitter,
Instagram, both. Please do go. What's your Twitter, Mei? Twitter のハンドル。
Twitter handle? @mark G. No, sorry. I write. @mark.
Yes.
Mei _GTMV.
So Mei is well. How would I say that? @
No, just
the A mark and go with Mei _ GTMV, which was Gatomu's initials or Gatomu's hashtag. And perfect. For Akki, please do go to YouTube, not YouTube, Twitter and Instagram. Both are Baliyan Akki, BALIYAN XAKKI. Please do go, give a follow. And if I have to say for myself, please do go check out ChocoPro as well. Even if it feels like on the surface it's not for you, give it a try. Give us 10 minutes. I think in this age of binging Netflix for 8 hours, you can spare 10 minutes. Please go to YouTube. Please do check out. And I'm not joking, as our slogan is, which Amy Sakura made the day we made Choco Pro, a chocolate bit of happiness. That's all we wanted from this, and that's all we tried to give to people. That's all she tried to give to people when she made that promotion in a time where people were uncertain of the literal life they had. Will they be able to live in the next 1 month? Emi Sakura decided to start something new. Forget about keeping what she had or panicking. No, she went, oh no, this is the time to start something.
To try something.
We always need hope. And that hope in her mind for wrestling and for people. And that's why this is no paywall. So that you don't need anything to be a part of it. All we need is just that chocolate bit of happiness.
There you
just
go.
a little bit.
There you go. That's very important. The no paywall initiative, right? It's all, if you watch on YouTube, you can drop super chats, you can become a member of the channel. There's also PayPal donations, all sorts of way to support.
There's a ton of them.
There's a ton of them.
Like just a like and share.
And that also helps.
As much as somebody who buys a choco bouquet and gets a shout out on the show, it helps probably the same amount.
There you go. Listen, I hope nothing but the best for the both of you in 2022. I hope you continue down your path. This was a wonderful talk. Congratulations again on being on the 500. Thank you so much for your time today, Mei and Akki. I very appreciate it.
Thank you very much to Pro Wrestling Illustration for putting us on the list. And thank you very much, especially for putting us back to back.
Well, we'll make very sure the committee knows that.
I'm so happy to hear that ranking because
don't say it. No, please go ahead. I know what she's gonna say.
Because I really become about BestBros. BestBros become big.
Yeah, we became a thing.
Yeah, became a thing.
Yeah.
So that ranking makes us Yuki.
It says that ranking gave her confidence.
Yeah, confidence.
And strength.
Sure.
Because it basically is we are recognized as a team.
Yeah.
From a place that recognizes all wrestling.
So thank you very much.
I'm so happy she didn't put up that she was above me. If she had done that, I would have punched her in the side of the head.
でもアキよりメイの方が一個上だった。
絶対言うだろう。絶対言うだろうと思った。I was waiting for her to not.
Mei, that is ranking.
Let's end this interview, or we're gonna.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end it here before it gets ugly. Yeah, exactly. Thank you both so very much. And again, best of luck to you in 2022. Hope everything goes your way.
Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone for watching us today right here on youtube.com/bell2bells. Hey, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm Mr. Warren Hayes. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.